On December 11th, the morning after Madoff had allegedly confessed to his sons, the FBI knocked on his door and asked if there was an innocent explanation.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today, we're looking at various times family members of criminals aided in their capture or conviction.
He got a copy of the manifesto and began reading. He read it in the hopes of erasing the idea that his brother was a killer.
The Charles Manson family defections. The Manson family wasn't bound by blood ties, but by cultish devotion to Charles Manson. Manson's followers believed in his twisted ideology about an impending race war. Together, they committed a series of gruesome murders in 1969 that horrified the nation and drew police attention.
Then they went up to the house and they viciously murdered Sharon Tate, who was 8 months pregnant.
How were they caught? Well, their downfall came from within their so-called family. While in jail, Susan Atkins bragged about the killings, which gave investigators their first solid lead.
Susan started telling her cellmates because she was sure that he was a messiah.
Danny DiCarlo also provided information to the police. Finally, Linda Kasabian, the group's getaway driver, turned witness and testified against all of them. Without these betrayals, Manson might have escaped justice entirely. But in the end, his family was the reason he fell.
Of Manson's original family, only 3 are left in Los Angeles. The rest are either in jail or in hiding.
Pedro Hernandez's family revelations. On May 25, 1979, Aton Pates vanished, sparking one of America's biggest missing child cases.
She saw him off that morning and went inside, never seeing him again.
Declared dead in 2001, the mystery stayed unsolved until 2012, when Pedro Hernandez suddenly confessed to killing him. His brother-in-law, Jose Lopez, even called investigators and told them he believed Hernandez was responsible for the crime.
Authorities did not find anything, but ABC News has learned it's believed the renewed headlines from that digging prompted someone in Pedro Hernandez's family to call authorities, telling them, "You should look at our relative again."
Statements from Hernandez's sister and a church group leader also made it seem like he was guilty. After years of courtroom drama, Hernandez was finally convicted and sentenced to 25 years to life.
As Pedro Hernandez was sentenced 25 years to life in prison.
But his case remains a tricky one. With no physical evidence and signs of mental illness, many believed his confession was coerced. In 2025, his conviction was overturned and a new trial ordered. The Madoff family's betrayal.
It was the largest stock fraud in history.
It's hard to say what Bernie Madoff expected when he confessed his Ponzi scheme crimes to his sons. Was it sympathy or for them to become partners in guilt? He got neither. In late 2008, as the financial crisis hit and investors demanded their money back, Madoff knew his end was near. Cornered, he confessed everything to his sons, Mark and Andrew. Instead of protecting him, they cut all ties with him and called their attorney, who alerted authorities.
And they turned around immediately and reported their father to the FBI.
Thanks to his son's actions, his empire of deceit collapsed, exposing one of the biggest financial fraud cases in history. In the end, Madoff stood alone, betrayed not by enemies, but by the truth he could no longer hide.
He doesn't care how he ruined us. He doesn't care the lives that he destroyed.
Elliot Rodger's parents alert police. Long before the Isla Vista killings, 22-year-old Elliot Rodger showed clear signs of trouble. Before the attack, his mother had alerted his therapist after seeing strange videos he posted online. This led to a welfare check, but the police found nothing alarming at the time.
Rodger's family says that in the weeks before the shooting, they reached out to authorities. They also say he'd been receiving mental health treatment.
Then, on the night of the attack, Rodger emailed his manifesto to his parents, therapists, and a few others, outlining his plot for revenge. His mother reportedly received a call from the therapist 13 minutes before the rampage, and they frantically tried to stop him.
Rodger's family says their son was already being treated by multiple therapists.
But it was too late. By the time they called 911, Rodger had already begun his rampage, killing 6 people and injuring 14 before turning the gun on himself.
If they had demanded to search my room, That would have ended everything.
Tyler Robinson's father brings him in September 2025. While addressing an audience in Utah Valley University, Charles Kirk was fatally shot by a sniper. The tragedy sent shockwaves through the country, revealing the deadly cost of political hatred. The suspect, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, was identified shortly after. His parents recognized his face from news reports and persuaded him to come home. Fearing a violent standoff, they contacted a retired detective from their congregation, who helped to arrange a peaceful surrender.
His parents convinced him to come to their home, and they talked him down from that and then called in a family friend, a retired investigator, who then in turn convinced him to turn himself in.
Though Robinson reportedly preferred taking his life than surrender, his father convinced him otherwise. He even went as far as driving his son to the sheriff's office, where he was taken into custody without incident.
And following that, Hallie, investigators say that he has remained uncooperative.
Timothy McVeigh's sister's cooperation. Timothy McVeigh committed one of the worst crimes in American history, and his own sister helped to bring him down. In 1995, McVeigh parked a truck full of explosives in front of a government building, which killed 168 people and injured many others.
A massive car bomb exploded outside of a large federal building in downtown Oklahoma City, shattering that building.
Not long after the bombing, McVeigh was arrested for a traffic violation, and evidence quickly linked him to the bombing.
Trooper Hanger says it's a miracle he was even in a position to see that missing tag.
While his sister, Jennifer McVeigh, didn't turn him in directly, she cooperated with investigators, which helped build a case against him. After investigators interviewed her, they discovered letters hinting at his violent intentions before the bombing. Jennifer didn't stop there. She even testified against him in court, which helped prosecutors secure his conviction and eventual death sentence.
McVeigh is specifically charged with having delivered the bomb to the Murrah building in a truck that he rented under a false name, and having detonated the bomb.
Robert Durst's brother implicates him. Robert Durst was accused of a string of disturbing murders, starting with the 1982 disappearance of his wife, Kathleen. In 2000, he murdered his friend, Susan Berman, to silence her about the case, and a year later, killed his neighbor, Morris Black. Though he admitted to cutting up Black's body, he was acquitted after claiming self-defense.
DeGuerin and the other defense lawyers convinced the jury that Durst killed Black in self-defense.
Decades later, Durst was convicted of Berman's murder in 2021 and sentenced to life in prison. His own brother Douglas testified against him, painting a clear picture of Durst's dangerous behavior. He even claimed he feared Durst would kill him after receiving threats from his own brother.
Robert's actions were bizarre, and while I wasn't sure, I felt that to protect my family.
But before trial could begin for Kathleen's disappearance, Durst died in 2022.
Do you know who did?
No, I do not.
Dylann Roof's family called police. In July 2015, Dylann Roof entered one of the oldest black churches in South Carolina and opened fire on a Bible study session. He killed 9 African-American worshipers, including the church's pastor, in what was clearly a racially motivated crime.
It sure seems like he knew exactly what he was doing, and he was doing it because he wanted to kill people.
After the massacre, a massive manhunt began, and police released surveillance images showing Roof's car and face. Within hours, a woman driving in Shelby, North Carolina spotted him on the road and called authorities. Reports also say Roof's half-sister recognized his image from the news and contacted the police, which helped confirm his identity. Roof was arrested and later sentenced to death in 2017. Turning in a family member for a crime so horrific takes tremendous courage. Proof that sometimes justice outweighs blood.
A jury convicted him on 33 federal charges.
Jennifer Pan's father exposes her. This remains one of Canada's most shocking family crime cases. In 2010, Jennifer Pan, the daughter of Vietnamese immigrants, staged what looked like a home invasion. She claimed intruders had broken into their home and shot her parents.
And how many assailants did she claim were in there?
3.
How'd she describe them?
They were all male black.
While her mother died, her father was left critically injured but survived. At first, police thought it was a robbery gone wrong. But a deeper investigation told a different story. When her father awoke from his coma, he revealed he'd seen Jennifer talking to one of the intruders in a manner which seemed to suggest she was not a hostage.
Pan said that he saw his daughter come downstairs and was unbound speaking in a friendly manner to a white guy.
It turned out she'd hired hitmen to kill her parents so she could inherit their wealth and be with her boyfriend. She was convicted in 2014.
Jennifer also receives a non-communication order, meaning she can never speak to anyone in her family again.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Ted Kaczynski's brother identifies him. The Unabomber thought he could outsmart the world, living off the grid in a tiny Montana cabin while mailing bombs that terrorized the nation for decades. But there was one group he couldn't fool: his own family. When the FBI published his anti-technology manifesto, his brother David recognized Ted's writing style and alerted the authorities.
David Kaczynski made a gut-wrenching decision. Through his attorney, he contacted the FBI about his brother.
Among other tips of possible suspects, David's own stood out because it came backed with personal documents that demonstrated linguistic similarities.
David Kaczynski was stunned. The 1971 essay David had unearthed was eerily similar to the Unabomber manifesto.
It became the breakthrough that investigators had been searching for. Ultimately, Ted was brought down not just because of some high-tech tracking or elite detectives, but because of the keen eye of a family member.
As he turned to get his coat, the officers pounced on Kaczynski. The suspected Unabomber was in custody.
What other criminals were turned in by their own families? Let us know in the comments section.